Well, hello everybody. This video is going to be a comparison between the Audi TT Mark 1 and the Volkswagen Beetle Turbo S. Now, I haven't really seen any comparisons of these two vehicles, so I figured since they are very similar in many ways, and we'll get into that, I would shoot a comparison. I realize that both cars are extremely dirty, so just don't mind that for this video. You can also see that we have the Reindeer Kit on, well, kind of both of them. I originally had it on just the TT, and you know, the nose can't really go on the Beetle because it doesn't have a front grille or an upper grille. It just has the lower ones, so that's kind of the first difference. They both have 3 grills on the bottom. This one doesn't have a center one though. So yeah, I just kind of stuck the antlers on, just kind of changed them out to whichever one I'll be driving for the day, since it is the holidays. Now, both of these cars are built on the Volkswagen Audi Group A platform, and this is the 4th generation of the A platform. And other vehicles built on this include the Volkswagen Jetta, Golf, Audi A3 and S3, and a few others, as well as these two. The Beetle here, this is, I guess, technically the 2nd generation of the Volkswagen Beetle, produced from 1998 to 2010 model years here in America. And there is the pre-facelift, which was from 1998 to 2005, and the facelift from 2006 to 2010. And the Turbo S model was manufactured only in America, I believe, from model years 2002 to 2004. This one is a 2003. So this was kind of the highest performance and most spec'd out version of the Beetle available in America at the time. Of course, in Europe, they had the RSI Beetle, which was a very limited production. I believe only 250 were made. And that one had a VR6 engine, 3.2 liter with 225 horsepower. So obviously significantly more powerful, but extremely limited edition, I believe produced from about 2001, possibly all the way up to 2003. But they gave us this for America. And it uses, both these cars actually use, a 1.8 liter inline 4-cylinder turbocharged 5 valves per cylinder engine. They're the same, engine block on both of them, but I can tell you they do drive and sound quite a bit different, in my opinion. So let's quickly take a look under the hood. Now, this Volkswagen logo, originally it would have been black in all these spaces, also with the black ring around it. But they do tend to fade over time and just be silver. So we kind of repainted the middle part of it. You can see it's already starting to chip. So you can see in the Volkswagen, again, there was a sticker on there that was blue and white, but it peeled off. You can see it's 20 valves turbo. The Audi says 5 valves turbo. Now, they both have 5 valves per cylinder for a total of 20. They just chose to notate that differently on each. Now, the engine on the Beetle makes 180 horsepower, whereas this particular Audi TT is 225 horsepower. This is the upgraded model, so the lower spec models would have 180 horsepower, identical to that of the Beetle. But I would actually argue that these two are the most comparable. There's not really much difference in performance between that 180 and that 225. They're both about 6.2, between 6.2 and 6.67-ish seconds, 0 to 60. Possibly just because the Beetle weighs less, it's about 250 pounds lighter. Partially thanks to, this is a front wheel drive, whereas the TT is a quattro all-wheel drive. And they did make this in front wheel drive, only for the 180 horsepower variant. They also made that one in a quattro. And I guess just before I get too carried away here, some more history about the TT since I didn't go into that yet. This is the first generation model, so it's produced from model years 2000 to 2006. Originally in 2000 it was only available in 180 horsepower, either front wheel drive or quattro. Then in 2001 through 2006 they had this 225 horsepower variant, which this is a 2001. And then in 2004 through 2006 we got the VR6 3.2, similar to that used in the RSI Beetle, but it had, instead of 225, it had 250 horsepower. So like I said, the Turbo S Beetle is only available in front wheel drive, whereas this one, the 225 horsepower, only comes in quattro all wheel drive, which definitely makes it a more practical option for snow and ice driving. It is a night and day difference driving these two vehicles in the snow, which you can see is kind of a little bit of an issue right now. Not too much on the roads anymore, but yeah, this one can be a little scary sometimes in the snow. But this one does great. You know, it doesn't feel unsafe at all, and I don't have a single problem with it. And these two cars being 2 model years apart, this one's 2 years older, I also have to argue that when features start coming to Volkswagens, like let's say for example, this is 2003. So features that were, you know, introduced in 2003 Volkswagen models most likely were available on Audi models since 2001. So it's always about a 2-year difference. You know, in 2002, Audi introduces a new feature, and then in 2004, that feature is brought to Volkswagen. Just something I've kind of noticed. So that makes these even more comparable. Now this Beetle doesn't have too many modifications. It has a aftermarket air intake, and you know, I really think that's it. It might have like a flutter valve or a blowout valve on it, because the turbo on this one kind of sounds a little insane. It's kind of funny driving it, but it's like you get a lot more just turbo dump sounds than in the Audi. Partially probably thanks to that air intake. Maybe there's some other things, but other than that, I'm pretty sure it's all stock. You know, I haven't owned this vehicle for too long. Now, I guess moving on to the wheels. So the Beetle Turbo S comes with 17-inch diameter by 7-inch wide rims. These are 5-spoke, and these are Volkswagen and BBS wheels. And you use 225 over 45 R17 tires. Now the TT, these are not the original rims. This one originally came with a 17 by 7.5 inch rim, so a little bit wider, but you still use the same tire size. And you know, those are just Audi rims, but these ones that I've mounted on it, these are 18-inch, and these were an option on TTs. I'm not sure if they were in America, maybe just overseas, but these are also Audi and BBS wheels. They're the nicest ones you can get, similar to these. So, like I said, they're 18-inch, they're 8 inches wide. You can use either 225 or 235s, which is what I have, over 40 R18. But yes, I definitely prefer these wheels to the stock wheels of the Audi TT. And just to show you guys, since I still have them, sorry, I kind of have my tools on them, but these are the stock wheels for that TT. So there's 5-spoke pretty simple wheels. I'm trying to make this video as in-depth as possible, so that's probably why it's going to be quite long. But I'm going to go into the changes over the regular standard VW Beetle to the Turbo S. So first of all, in the front end, you get quite a few changes. So first, you get this secondary circular light. That is the turn signal. Usually in Beetles, they would have the turn signal kind of be in this light, but it's more right here. It's more towards the front. And then it also incorporates the parking light on the side, which is what that is. So you just get an extra little light to make it look somewhat different. I like it, you know. And then you get these honeycomb style grills at the bottom. Usually on Beetles it's just, I think just one big opening and it's just like a line through it. So you get these 3 honeycomb grills which incorporate the fog lights. And like I said, you get the wheels. Now on the back end, you get a little badge that says Turbo S as opposed to just Turbo or just nothing. And usually this S is filled in black. It's just, again, worn off like this has. Additionally, you get dual exhaust tips. You can kind of see it looks like they wanted to put 2 more there. There's that kind of that cutout, but they didn't. And then the license plate usually is kind of cut out here. But this one, they gave it a cleaner look and it's just below. So I like that. And finally on this model, and some of them are just regular turbo Beetles, you get this spoiler, which as soon as you hit 45 miles an hour, it will pop up. Obviously, there is a way to manually pop it up, but we've just kind of disconnected it because it's a little annoying. And then you get the sunroof as standard. Basically on this car, all of the options that are available for the Beetle are just standard. So coming into the interior, you can see we get nice 2-tone leather seats. They're black and gray. Coming in here, so we get, well, a 6-disc CD changer in the back. You get the premium monsoon sound system. Again, the power sunroof. And so the steering wheel, you can see the little bars. These are actually aluminum as opposed to just plastic. You can see they have 6 little dimples. And this kind of design characteristic you can see on the gauge little needles in the center. They also have the 6 dimples on the shift knob. And you know, that's really it for this car. Or kind of on the handles, you get 8 of them. But this kind of pattern is something that was introduced in the TT. So let's go ahead and take a look inside there. First of all, over here, gas cap is aluminum. It has those dimples. But coming inside, you can see this pattern is literally everywhere you look. But this one has 8 dimples as opposed to 6. So this is where it all started, and they kind of just brought a little bit of that character to the Beetle, but you can see it here on the handle, at the base of the door pull. Sorry about my focus. Again, on the gauges and on all the air vents, all these buttons. Again, the shift knob in 2 places, and maybe even some others that I'm missing, but it's literally everywhere. There's a lot more aluminum, although the Beetle does have some real aluminum in some places. But this one also has a aluminum radio cover, and yeah, so definitely cool little pattern that was used. Also used in the RSI Beetle, but more so kind of looks more like the TT. So coming back in here, we'll just finish up. Again, like I said, the sunroof. You know, it has a moonroof, obviously. Since the car is off right now, I won't show that. And yeah, just basically the interior. You just get the odometer and trip odometer, and they're pretty basic. Once we get in the Audi, you'll see what I mean. You don't even have a coolant or oil or engine temperature gauge in there. Super simple, just the speed, fuel, and tachometer. You also have manual climate controls. That one has automatic. This one has heated seats as standard. And there's 5 levels, whereas in the TT there's actually 6. And most other Audis of the era have 6 levels. So I guess that's the difference between VW and Audi. 5 heated seat levels versus 6. So you get that extra luxury. Now, both of these vehicles are about the same length. The TT actually has a little bit shorter of a wheelbase, but really they're both about the same length. However, you know, this one is taller, it's more of a semicircular shape, and that allows for the back seats to be placed further back, which means you get significantly more legroom. In that car, when the front seats are moved all the way back, they are hitting the rear seats. And the rear seats are also more shallow than this. They cut off about here, I'd say. So they're a lot smaller, and since the roof is so low, you have to be under 5 feet really to fit in there comfortably anyways. And pretty much the person in front of you has to be the same way so they can have their seat all the way up. And that's the only way you'd be able to really fit comfortably in there. Otherwise, you just use those back seats if you're in a pinch. It works okay. But also this one has like a smaller trunk because of that. Although the hood is smaller too, which means the dashboard is a lot bigger. One of the biggest dashboards I've ever seen on a car. So yeah, just a lot of different proportional differences between those. Also a difference, the whole seat just folds down as one, whereas in that one both the seats fold individually. But they both have 4 seats, 4 seat belts, so no 5 seats. You get 3 cup holders, so 2 in the front, and they swivel so that you can, carry bigger drinks, because when they're under here like this, there's not a whole lot of room, so you can't put anything too big in there. But they don't move this way too much. They'll go all the way this way. So at least in this one you can have something pretty much as tall as you want. And then back here you just got one little one. The TT has 2. I think that's all I wanted to cover on the interior. Both have cruise control, although the Audi's is a little better, as you can plus and minus the speed rather than just setting it to one point. So like I said, you get 2 cup holders here. I've actually taken the back seat out because it's just for temporary. But usually there would be little end caps on here that have the same circle and dot pattern. Those usually fall off though, as does this climate control little cover, and sometimes the headlight switch, since you pull those ones out and in. So another thing I forgot to mention, both the cars have the exact same clutch, brake, and gas pedals, as well as the footrest. Both are exactly the same. And also, I guess I forgot to even mention, both have a 6-speed manual transmission. You get heated seats again. These ones are pretty cool. I think I actually have the key in here with me to turn them on. You first push the button out, and then, I'm really sorry about this focus. Okay. And then you twist it, and little lights come on all the way up to 6. So it's pretty cool. I like it. Again, you get the same switches as in the Beetle, so rear defogger and ESP, which is electronic stability program. That's one of the features like I was talking about. This came out on the Audis in 2001, and it came out on the VWs in 2003, at least here in America. But in the Beetle, these 2 switches basically are just flipped. So, but you get the hazards, obviously. So you get ESP, which really replaced, or maybe just adds on to ASR, which is anti-slip regulation. And you get EDL, electronic differential lock, and obviously ABS, anti-lock brakes. So a lot of safety features. This radio, this one actually has been taken from a 2002 through 2004, 5, or 6-ish Audi TT, maybe just 2002 and 3. I really don't know, but this is a Concert 2 radio. In the 2000s and 2001s, you either get a Chorus 1 or the upgraded Concert 1. Both of those have tape only. This one, in 2002 and later, you get the Chorus 2 and the Concert 2. Chorus 2 still has a tape, but the Concert 2 has CD, which I wanted. So that's why I fitted it. And some of the features don't work because it's technically not supposed to be in here. For example, if I turn it on actually, the lights for the buttons don't work. So you can see these ones come on, but these don't work yet. So I have to figure that out. Just some things like that. Yeah. And same thing, another one of those features. So since this radio came out in 2002, and had the CD, the one that came out in 2004 on the Beetle, that is the first year that they had CD. So in 2004 Beetle Turbo S, you most likely would have a CD rather than tape. So again, a 2 model years difference, like I keep talking about. So just things like that. Yeah, eventually they upgraded these to satellite radio. I don't know what year it was, whether it was 2004, 5, or 6. Yeah. Also, you get your automatic climate control, so you just set it to auto, set the temp, there's a screen in there, so yeah, it sets fan speed if you don't want auto. And then you got the same buttons for vents, up and down, windshield. And then you also get, additionally, this economy button, so saves fuel, I guess. And same, you get the air circulation. Same as the Beetle. Now, this is the Ashtray, but I've removed the Ashtray actually. In this car, you get only one 12-volt port. The Beetle has 3, so that is definitely a drawback on this one. Here, in this little cubby that you can close, sorry, this car is a mess, but you get your fuel and trunk release, which are located on the side here on the Beetle. And you also get this alarm, so if I open this door, we can turn it on, and that actually disables the alarm when that light is off. So it's an interior motion sensor located up there. So the alarm will sound if there's any motion inside the vehicle when it is locked, but you can turn that off there. Other things, both of them have heated and power mirrors, and they both have 2 switches for the doors on the driver's side, and the passenger just gets the one, obviously. And I forget that I have to keep adjusting focus, but it's kind of annoying. And other things they both have in common, obviously dimming mirrors. The dome light is incorporated, I don't really know if you see that, maybe. Okay, but the dome light on the Beetle is incorporated into the bottom of the mirror, and here it's just a separate thing. You get the reading lights individually. This goes the same for both. You set it to auto, off and on. Visors, of course, both with vanity mirrors and lights. What else am I forgetting? Oh yeah, you get this tiny little third visor on the Audi TT to kind of just block that area over the mirror. Again, here's the back seats. I only have the backrests in, again, tiny. You get 2 little compartments. So that one is the first aid kit compartment. I don't have that first aid kit. It closes. And then over here, this is where the CD changer is located. I'm not gonna be able to reach that though. Okay, so there is the CD changer, which I've also taken out because I don't use. And that is located just in the trunk of the Beetle. But yeah, they're both really similar. Again, coming into the instrument cluster here, you know, you get a actual screen, so you get your odometer and trip odometer again there, and you get your time and date here. The VW, you have a little screen up kind of around here that has the time but not the date. Also has the temperature. That one you just get in the middle here on this screen. So this screen, so this is just the temperature always. Up here will be either the radio information or any warnings you may have. So if we push this button, you can see push the button, sorry. And we'll run the auto check system. So crucial alerts will appear in the middle in red, and secondary ones will be in yellow at the top. And then if you had an automatic version of the TT, which didn't come out to 2003, you get the park, all the different drive, reverse, neutral selection in there, so you can see what you're in, obviously. And then this middle portion of the screen, you can change that using this button on this stock. Or actually, it's these side ones you flick up and down. This one just you hold down to reset or just turn off the screen entirely. But you can flick through different ones. So you have your fuel, your miles till empty. And yes, I know I have 30 miles, but this still shows a half tank. This just needs a new motor. And then this is how much time the car has been on since you last reset it. This is your average MPG, and this is your average speed, and then this is your instantaneous MPG, so what you're getting right now. So a lot of cool driver, I forget what they call it, driver information system features. Also this one you do get a coolant temperature gauge. Pretty much all these engine lights or warning lights are the same. You do get an immobilizer in this one, so this key is not programmed to the car, so it will not start it. In fact, if we go ahead and try that right now, try to crank it. See, it will start, but then it just immediately dies. So again, you get that in the Beetle. I don't know if it was the first year they had it, but this was the first year they had it on the Audis. Yeah, so I know this video is very long, but it's in depth, which some of you may prefer. But the TT is definitely more of a sports car profile. The Beetle is just kind of an economy car, and obviously that's always supposed to be. But they kind of just did a little hot rod version of it for this, so it's not quite as well suited. The suspension is definitely a lot more squidgy on that car, although that one actually has less ground clearance. It's about 6 inches versus about 8 in this one. But this one has much firmer suspension and looks more like a sports car, I'd say. Both have locking steering wheels. A little more of the exteriors. So, like I said, this one has dual exhaust pipes. I mean, not really. They're probably just the same pipe all the way down until the very end. This one, obviously, the same way. It doesn't have a dual exhaust, of course, but they do split to 2 separate pipes. This valance here is taken from the 3.2 VR6 version of the car, which had some styling features of its own. Usually this would just be red again. You can see this is Quattro all-wheel drive. And fuel doors are in the same location, and they both have retaining fuel caps, and the inside will tell you the payload you can put in the car, the tire pressures, and some other information, what type of fuel you're supposed to put in it, which of course is premium. No less than mid-grade though. So yeah, you can see again the taillights. Basically on the Audi, the headlights and the taillights, all of them are just incorporated into one singular fixture. Or in the Beetle there's a bunch of separate ones. So you have the circles for the turn signals and the brake lights, and just the running lights, I believe. This then is just the parking light, which the Audi has right here, if you can see. It's kind of hidden in there. And then the reverse lights are separate, obviously just right here. And we get running lights / brake lights, turn signals, obviously the central brake light as well. And they both have side markers in the same location. Again, you have, this one actually has daytime running lamps, which the TT does not. Only in Canada would it have daytime running lamps, and those would just be basically just the fog lights are the running lamps. But this one has those in America. So that is with that little light, I don't know if you can see it in there, but that is the running lights. That is the high beams, and that is the low beams. Again, turn signals, fog lights, and parking lights. This one, you have turn signals slash parking lights, fog lights, high beams, low beams. This is just a reflector. And yeah, of course, this would normally be a Quattro badge. I just stuck the TT one on there because I liked it. Yeah, going in here a little more, you can see like a lot of things are similar. The coolant reservoir, which is absolutely filthy on that one, is the same right there. The windshield washer, this is a bigger cap than the TTs. They're also located in different places, but they're the same cap overall. Although this one would normally be blue, I just put the black one from the Audi R8 in it. Which is kind of cool. But these are obviously not original. They would normally be the same as these over here, which are kind of hidden under this plastic. These ones I had to upgrade to these aluminum ones. Pretty nice. And yeah, both of them have the windshield washers just kind of incorporated, so there's not anything on the hood. Also, the silver mirrors, or the silver mirror covers, are an upgrade I did. They would normally be red. The paint colors, this is Amulet Red on the TT, and this is just plain old black on the Beetle. This car actually only came in a few colors. So 2002, the first year, only came in black, silver, and red. And then in 2003 and 4, they added a dark gray one. But that's all the colors that came in. This one, there's too many colors for me to list. So, yeah. So you can see this one's windshield, or the sprayer jets. I don't even know where they are located in here. Oh, they might be. Yeah, they're up here. That one. So yeah, just a lot of little differences between these cars. Another thing that I've noticed basically is the doors lock automatically when you go over like 10 miles an hour on this one. Also, you cannot lock the doors unless the driver door is closed, so prevents you from locking your key in the car. But you can add those kind of features to like this car, for example, using software upgrades. You can also see the key fobs for the two cars are quite similar as you'd expect. This one kind of rubbed off on the logo a little bit. Pretty much all the logos is just rub off on that one. You get a little bit different of a attachment there. They're both like a switchblade key. Flip out like that, which I like. See, same buttons and everything. And here they're just a little bit different shaped. And yeah, this one has a light when you push the button. You can see that. This one doesn't though. So yeah, pretty much the only difference. Now for actually locking the car, so let's do the TT first. So you can hear that sound. The VW used to make that sound, but I guess the horn for that died or something, because it doesn't do that anymore. You just push it and the lights blink. They used to make that sound though, although the difference is that the VW would beep every time you hit the buttons, whereas the Audi is just once. So you can see now that it's locked, if I try to lock it again, the lights will flash and you'll hear the lock, but it doesn't make that sound again until you unlock. So there's kind of some interference because the two key fobs are right next to each other. If you unlock and then relock, but that's the only time it does it. Yeah, I think I've covered pretty much everything. I'm not trying to bore you guys, although I know I am. The other thing, you get an actual keyhole on both sides of the TT. It's only on the driver's side of the Beetle. So I believe that is everything I wanted to cover in this video. This is the 2003 Volkswagen Beetle Turbo S versus 2001 Audi TT Quattro 225. The next video, probably, I will be actually driving the cars, just to show you the differences there, because even though they're extremely similar in a lot of regards, driving these is two completely different animals, even if they are about the same, speed. So I thank you for watching this video. I really hope you did enjoy. Please go ahead and leave a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.